boys and girls, and welcome to another edition of Can't Wait Wednesdays here on the KB Radio Network. This is the show where we preview upcoming television and films of the upcoming weekend. How are we doing, everybody? We are unofficially into the summer movie season. This is I would say Christmas for me. The next 3 months, I love summer movies, and I love when we get the big blockbuster, special effects driven, action driven, superhero films. You know, all the tentpole films, if you will. You know, and this is where I just dive right into the movie theater. But as of the last few years, if you've noticed, they, studios have been kind of spreading out their big blockbuster movies. $200 million films, uh, dropping in February and September and November. All over throughout the year, should I say? And it's been kind of weird. I mean, it's good in a way. I mean, because you always have something interesting to watch throughout the year. But I grew up in an era, you know, aging myself here, and I grew up in an era where you got the big blockbuster films in the summertime. And that was the premium time to go to the movie theater. I don't know if it's because of kids being out of school around that time or, vacationing around that time. People at home more during the summer or a combination of all. I don't know. I don't know the reason why the summer was just the premier time for these big movies, And then later in the year, that's when you get your Academy Award worthy films or Oscar bait films, if you will. And then the beginning of the year, between January and I would say April, that's when you get the dumping ground. That's when you get the films that studios don't have much confidence in. They just stick them out around that time of the year, especially in January. January is normally the time where they've spent money on these movies and then realize that this isn't going to work. So they just stick it into January or February and let's see what happens. But as I stated before, it's been different. It didn't change, and I would love to blame the pandemic, but it was kind of starting to go that route before the pandemic. But yet and still, summer is still the summer, and we still have tentpole films coming out this year. That I mean, this is a throwback summer, in my opinion. If you've listened to the previous movie goodness that's available on the KB Radio Network, wherever you're currently listening to this show, we went through the whole summer. I even left some off. There was so many, and there was a lot coming out this year uh, for the next 3 months, and it basically starts this week. You can go back a couple of weeks with Guardians of the Galaxy. It kind of kicked off unofficially the summer movie season, but this week is a film coming out that is summer. It's a summer film. And we're going to get to that. Before we get to that, we have a few other films that are coming out this weekend that just looks interesting and I can't wait for it. Let's start off with a Netflix miniseries that I saw the trailer for and I was like, what is this? It looks like a uh, 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 I don't know, just mystery crime drama that uh is right up my alley, really. But it is a foreign language series, but I could care less because it looks interesting. It is Muted, and it drops on Netflix this Friday, May the 19th. And the premise of it is Sergio hasn't spoken since the day he murdered his parents. 6 years later, a teenage girl may be the key to unveiling the whole story. Uh, I don't know much about this film other than the trailer that I saw for it. And it looks, well, not film, it's a miniseries, but it looks very interesting. Um, you know, and I'm not spoiling anything. I can't spoil it because I haven't seen it, but the trailer tells us that his parents were brutally murdered. He was convicted of it, and he hasn't spoken. He hasn't said a word since that. He went to prison. He got released from prison and everything. He hasn't said a word. And it's more of a, did he or didn't he really do this? Did he really commit this crime? Or if he did commit this crime, why? Because he hasn't spoken. And uh, to unveil the truth, and I guess we're going to go through it throughout this miniseries of what really happened and how did it happen or who really did it and all this. It just looks good. And just going by the trailer, it looked like it's going to be a very tense type of show, and I'm all for it. Muted drops on Netflix this Friday, May the 19th. On the following day, on Saturday, May the 20th, we have a documentary film about a singer that I'm pretty sure the vast majority of people know about. And if you're a fan of this young lady, you should be interested in this, and it is Love to Love You, Donna Summers. And I'm not a big Donna Summers fan. I know her music. I know the song, Love to Love You, baby. That song. I'm not going to sing the rest of it. But anyways, it is a documentary film that follows the life and career of Donna Summers. And it first premiered at the Berlin International Film Festival in February, and now it will drop on HBO this Saturday, May the 20th. And if you followed the career of Donna Summers, she was a very interesting woman. Uh, of course, she was dubbed the Queen of Disco in the mid 70s when disco was at its peak, before my time. But I do love some disco. I can listen to the Bee Gees all day. But she is a very controversial figure. At least she was. She had some interesting feelings on certain situations, should I say, to put it kindly. But I'm pretty sure that this documentary will touch in on it. But she had some anti-gay remarks that she made in the past that she did later apologize for. Said it was taken out of context. She basically blamed gays for the AIDS virus back in the 80s when it was popping, and she did kind of push back on that later on. But you know, she still, I think she later came back and still made some anti-gay references later on, which is kind of ironic when you think about the fact that she's the queen of disco, and disco is, uh, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say gay because I don't want to come off as anti-gay either. But it's kind of, when you think of that, you know, the homosexual community kind of gravitated towards disco, and I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird that basically her fan base, the majority of her fan base is gay, and she had these feelings towards the LGBTQ community. So hey, look, whatever. But I'm more than certain we're gonna find out more about all of that in this documentary, which drops on HBO May the 20th. Love to Love You, Donna Summers. Our next Can't Wait is a film that I am not excited for, but I am intrigued by. And I don't know. This is my feeling. There's certain movies that you should just leave alone. Some films you should not reboot, remake, shouldn't touch. Back to the Future, don't touch it. You know, Indiana Jones. Yeah, you can make sequel. Of course, they got a sequel coming out, but leave it alone after that. You know, don't try to rehash it. You dig? It's just classic films that you just should not touch. And I feel this way about this film. Well, I should take that back. I wouldn't have a problem with them kind of rebooting this particular film. I just don't like who's rebooting it. And I am scared to death that they're going to sully the name of White Men Can't Jump. And we're getting a rehash of that 90s classic, in my personal opinion, um, which originally starred Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson. I It just had his what 30-year anniversary last year, I think it was. Uh, I love that movie. Yeah, is it dated at part? Yeah, of course, it's dated. You know, some of the clothes and stuff like that. Maybe even some of the material in that movie is a little dated, but it's still a classic in my eyes. I love White Man Can't Jump, and I'm pretty sure a vast majority of the population loves that movie. It is a cult classic, but for some strange, unearthly reason, they had the bright idea to remake this movie, and with the talent involved here, not only in front of the camera but behind it, gives me zero hope that this movie is going to be good. Now, I'm saying this and I haven't seen one scene in this movie, but I don't need to because I know who's a part of this film. This film is directed by Charles Kidd II. Now, he goes professionally by Selmatic. And if you don't know who he is, he made another film last year, which was also, I guess you could say, a reboot, House Party. And that movie, I had the same exact feeling that I have about this movie. I tried to watch House Party. I watched 5 minutes of House Party, and it took me 3 sittings to get to up to 5 minutes, and I just could not watch it. It looked horrible. Now, it could have turned. It could have got better. I don't know. For some strange reason, I cannot build enough courage in my heart to try to finish that movie. It's just that bad. I say 5 minutes. I'm being kind of embellished. It may be 10, maybe 15. I could not. I don't know. I lost track. All I remember is thinking to myself, why am I sitting here watching this? I know it's going to be bad. It was bad. No part of that first 10 to 15 minutes that I watched of House Party gave me any hope it was going to get any better. At no point. And so I left it alone. Well, he directed that, and he's also directing this. I have no faith in this. I have no faith in this. Now, maybe it was because of the writers involved. Maybe it was just written bad, and he did the best that he can do, because that is a possibility as well. Well, in this case, I'm definitely discouraged because it is co-written by Kenya Barris. And if you listen to this show long enough, which I greatly appreciate, you know that Kenya Barris and me have a love-hate relationship. I love some of his material, and I hate, absolutely loathe the rest of it. And it's not even 50-50. It's more like 30-70. When it comes to Kenya Barris. Um, Nothing has been even killed with me. The closest was oh my god, the movie with Eddie Murphy and Jonah Hill just a few months ago. You People. He wrote and directed that movie, and for the most part, it was all right. It, it wasn't good. It was just all right, and that was the only like, eh, you know, just meh film that, or project that I've watched of his that I can actually stand watching. You know, I'll never go back and watch it again, but that's the only one I can stand. Anything else, the Coming to America sequel was bad. You know, the Shaft film was bad. He just ah, it just doesn't connect with me. Now I know he has his fans. I know a lot of people who love those movies. I've actually spoken to people who absolutely adore those films, and God bless them. I envy them because I wish I would have, but I don't, and I don't have faith in this. Starring in this film, we have Cinqua Wells and Jack Harlow, I guess, taking over for Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson, respectfully. Um, I'm just not feeling this movie at all. I wish I could be super excited. I know that Can't Wait Wednesdays is supposed to be the show to hype you up for movies, supposed to get you excited for projects that's coming down the pike, but it's just not getting it for me. And so you may ask yourself, why am I talking about it today? Well, I know a lot of people are going to watch it. Oddly enough, I'm going to watch it. And it's going, I'm going to try, just like I tried with House Party. But I'm going to try to watch this because I want to review this film. And I'm hoping I can eat crow. I'm really, seriously, I'm praying that I'm wrong here. I pray that this is a good movie. But good is not good enough in my eyes because the original was great. And if you can't be equal to or greater than, it's no point going into it. But we shall see. But it doesn't give me any hope that the fact that the studio felt, you know what, we're just going to dump this on Hulu. We're not even going to put this in theaters. So we shall see. White Man Can't Jump jumps into your television screens this Friday, May the 19th on Hulu. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. But I am not encouraged by this movie at all. Anyway, let's move on to another film that, oddly enough, I have the exact same feelings for. This is our final Can't Wait of the week. This is the biggest film of the week that I guess you could say unofficially kicks off summer. It has been doing it every year that they've released one of these films. This is the 10th. Yes, you heard me right. The 10th film in this franchise that started in the year 2000. And so we have gotten 10 Fast and Furious movies in the last 23 years. And I don't know why. I just don't know why. This is a franchise that continues to get ridiculous and more ridiculous and more ridiculous every single time. It has gotten to the point where it started off as a street racing film and it's turned into a superhero Avengers franchise. And I don't understand it. But for some strange, unearthly reason, I still go back to watch it. For some strange reason, I'm going to watch this. And it every year I say the same thing. I'm not just picking on Fast X. I can go as far back as the 8th one. I can go back to, I don't care how, just go back. I guess 5 or 6 is when I said, you know what? This has gotten completely ridiculous. But around that time, I also came to the realization that this is what it is. They lean into it. They know they're not trying to make classics here. They're not aiming for Oscar consideration in these films. They're not. They know what they are. And I respect that about it. As much as it pains me to watch these movies, I respect the fact that they know it's ridiculous. And they just lean into it. It is what it is. And for that reason, I gotta watch it, because they're not trying to do anything special as far as acting and plot. There's no, there's nothing special there, but they always seem to attract these uh, 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 premier actors. I mean, Academy Award winning actors become a part of this franchise. Like it's the thing to do. And I don't get it. But once again, this go around, we have Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Jason Statham, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, Jason Momoa, John Cena, Jordana Brewster, Natalie Emmanuel, Brie Larson, Alan Rickson, Scott Eastwood, yes, Clint's son, Helen Mirren, Charlize Theron, and Rita Morero in A Partridge in a Pear Tree. Everybody who is a part of this franchise, who has passed away, who have died in previous installments, have come back. It's just been completely ridiculous. This is the most silly franchise on God's green earth. Now, let's see what we got this go around. The premise to Fast X. Dominic Toretto must protect his crew and family from Dante Reyes, the son of a drug lord seeking revenge for the loss of his family's fortune from the heist in Rio de Janeiro from, I think that was part 5. And so that is the premise to this franchise. To this installment of the franchise. The budget of this film, hear me out. This isn't Avengers Endgame. All right. This isn't a big superhero franchise. This isn't Avatar. This isn't I'm trying to think of another big uh you know blockbuster franchise film with a ridiculous budget that you can kind of understand. Well, either way, the budget on this film was $340 million. $340 million to make Fast X. To put that in perspective, The Fast and the Furious, which is the first film in this franchise that came out in 2001, was made for $38 million. That little movie. We have ballooned all the way up to $340 million to make this movie. Now, it seems crazy, but these movies make billions of dollars. This is a $1 billion franchise. Now, this is the 8th most expensive movie ever made. The 8th. Which is wild to me. But we shall see. Will it make $1 billion this go around? This franchise clearly has a fan base, and then there are those who hate watch it just to spew hate about it. And I know this is a podcast and you can't see anything visually, but I am raising my hand as one of those people. So I'm gonna hate watch this movie just to see how ridiculous it is. Look, Fast 9 or F9, whatever they had the title of that last one was. It made $1 billion during a pandemic. And so for some strange reason, this is a thing. Now, they went into space the last one. That's how ridiculous it got. With a car, mind you. They went into space. And so I don't think you can go. I don't know how much further they can go with the ridiculousness. We're gonna see this Friday, May the 19th. This is part 1 of a 2-part finale. It doesn't end here, people. It doesn't end here because part 11 will come out next year, I believe. and that will be the end. Prayers up for that. And so we shall see the first half of the finale of the Fast and Furious franchise, Fast X, speeds into theaters this Friday, May the 19th. So those are your can't waits this week. Just to recap, you have Muted, a TV mini series that drops on Netflix this Friday, May the 19th. Love to Love You, Donna Summers drops on HBO Saturday, May the 20th. White Men Can't Jump will slam dunk on Hulu this Friday, May the 19th. And in theaters, we have the 10th installment of the Fast and Furious franchise, Fast X. Which one are you excited for? Which one you just can't wait for? I would love to know. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also look me up on Twitter at KB Radio Network, and on other social media platforms, just look up the KB Radio Network. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever it is you're currently listening to. Also, don't forget that we are on YouTube as well. Just look up the KB Radio Network, subscribe to the channel, and give this video a like. I really appreciate all of you joining me for this edition of Can't Wait Wednesdays. Can't wait to speak to you again. Until then, I want you all to know that I love you. Continue to love one another, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.